All right, so it's 5 minutes past. I am going to hand it over to Frank, and he's going to walk through some of the updates. Before we do that, actually, it won't be a long one today. There is a football game on apparently, so we'll try not to keep it too long today. Um, I don't even know who's playing, but I'm sure Frank will tell us in a minute. All
I,
right,
I
cool.
only know because of my family, because they keep on telling me it's England versus Argentina. There you go. Some
England
sort of
versus.
yeah, semi final, I think. So this is
All
like
right, it's an
big
important
deal.
one. There's going to be lots of shouting at the TV screens tonight.
Yep.
Hey,
Um,
Russ. All right, cool. So I'm going to hand it over to Frank, guys. Welcome. Thanks for making the time to join these. We're super excited. It motivates us so much that you're here with us live. It keeps us really pumped, to keep pushing forward and making these updates for you guys. So thank you for that. Handing it over to you, Frank, now to go through some of the updates.
okay. I'm wondering if I can share my screen because I've got the new UI here. So hang
Sure.
on. I hope I get this right. I've zoomed it in a bit, so it should be quite good. Is that decent?
Okay, it's just loading. Yeah, I can see it. Perfect.
Okay, so where's the update page so I can go through this in some sensible form?
Yeah, forward slash
Got
update.
it, got it, got it,
Cool.
got it. Let me just refresh. Okay, yeah, there you go. So I think the first thing on the top of the list is the a massive change to caching, which is going to bring your tokens down considerably. Don't know how much yet. But this whole update was thanks to GPT 5.6 Sol, which has just been remarkable the whole week. We've had it about a week and a half, and things are moving very, very quickly. Tons and tons of UI updates. As you can see, this is all, I don't know. Are you seeing what I'm pointing at, by the
Yeah, I
way,
can
David?
see it. I can see you're hovering over and the
Yeah.
filters are coming up.
So basically, you're used to this screen. What's new here is that we now have a projects list. This is obviously me testing out, putting hundreds of them in just to make sure everything's working. You're looking at my test system here. So you can now say if you say Alder, you see you got things. When you swap to a project, your default is going to change completely, and you can all the chats will change. What is owned by that project is totally different. So you've got a different set of agents. So here I've only got a few. These are my testing system agents and all that sort of stuff. Whereas in my other projects, I'll have a different set of agents. You've got all the branding has moved from up here. We're going to be changing the way this header works now because it's a bit difficult for us to create elements up here when we don't know what the color is going to be in the background. So that's become a bit problematic. Like if we put a light text and you've got a dark one, it works. But if you've got a light background, then the dark text doesn't work and we can't know what you're going to do. So that's sort of going to change a bit. But as you can see, some of the main differences here are things have been aggregated now. First of all, in the operator alerts, you get it per project. So this is all my tests here, making it much easier for you to find different alerts for different projects. The things on the header are generally for the whole system, not just a single project. Big difference here. You can see all of our providers now, and you've got these little mute buttons, so you can mute it when they're alerting and they're making that thing flash. If I turn it off, I won't have that alert anymore. And you can always go to the manage providers page straight away. This is like, for instance, a test account where we don't have something. So it's saying the credentials are rejected. So proper error messages coming through now should be a lot easier for you to handle problems with providers. We used to think of that as something that was kind of temporary, but it's not. Providers are going down all the time. It's a complete mess with them, and it's not getting any better. So this update has included a lot of new stuff to do with that. If I just try and pick a broken one, I can't remember which one's broken now. I don't know if that's broken or not. Um, it will very quickly understand that it is broken and roll back to something that works. I don't know if we've fixed that. Great, that's useless. Grok works, everything's working. Darn, I
Try.
think XAI isn't working, right? Let's check. I
Mm,
think I let it run out on purpose. Yeah, there you go. You see?
yeah. Good.
So look at that. And that's super fast and flips right back to Terra 5.6 Terra, which is my default. But this is all super cool because it allows you to actually see, provided ZAI has a billing issue, and it's skipping those models. It's not going to check any of them because the whole account's offline. Boom, switch, test, receive, done. Straight back in. Now that's huge because that really, again, it's so funny how you won't find this on very many systems because it is just so messy. So we've taken a lot of time now to kind of go through everything and make sure we cover as many of the edge cases as we can. And that's why your guys' reports don't get just disappeared. They don't just sit there and filed away. They're always looked at, analyzed, checked, and fixed. And as you'll see, every single version just gets better and better. You've also got effort, adaptive, max, and all of this stuff for every single one of these now. That is very, very useful. That switches on the intensity and the cost in tokens of how much your agent is going to be thinking. And this is super powerful. I'd say for most people, low, medium on regular tasks. But if you've got something super heavy happening, you can put it on extra high, max, adaptive. Extra high or max, and that thing will plow through your data. And I mean, it really does work. It's so powerful. It switches on basically the AI into super mode. We're currently recommending right now you use 5.6 Terra if you've got that. It is very, very good. I'd set it to something like medium or high. And that would be a very good way to set up your system. You're going to have an extremely reliable AI. So although it costs more, the argument is because it takes less time to do things and it gets it right more quickly, it may actually end up saving you a hell of a lot of time and money. So you want to play around with those things. They're quite simple. I mean, it's just that's all it is. Yeah, basically, alongside that, huge updates to the voice mode. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. You'll have to see it for yourself. If you press this button, the agent will just start speaking back to you. I don't know if you can actually hear it when I do this. Uh, let's see. You can see it switched it to high effort now because I just changed that. This is going to take a bit of time. No, you can't hear that because I'm on my headphones. But that has its own little control panel now. You can play around with that. And if I talk, and everything I say now is the system working, it will go through and just reply to you in voice, which is very, very useful. And it's smart. It doesn't speak in the same way as it does. Like it's not going to read word for word everything. Hang on, it's talking to me. It's not going to read everything for you word for word. It knows to keep things short. It goes into a mode where it actually communicates. But it can also show on the screen tables and other things, which you definitely don't want read out in your earphones. I don't know if you've used a bad version of this, and you get it reading out full stop dot dash 32794 and all that sort of nonsense. It's not doing any of that. It's got a very specific mode, and these can be switched off and on during any conversation, which is kind of crazy. So they know how to, it knows how to jump in and out of a conversation. I know some of you've used GPT. When you use voice mode, you then can't go back to text mode or vice versa. It's a bit weird and complicated. We don't have those problems. You have the voice call, which is still experimental, but has finally been super updated. I don't know if you can still hear me now because I'm on my thing.
Yeah, we can hear. Fine.
Okay, so as you can see, it's going to basically start reading out what I'm saying. It's going to be talking to me in the background, and I'm hearing it sort of chatting. And this voice mode allows you to just have a live call with the agent. It is experimental. It doesn't always work. It is much, much more updated than it was yesterday, and it is seeming to be quite reliable. So far, I tried it out in the car. It was working. Usually for this, we recommend headphones. It's a little better at distinguishing background noise now, thanks to 11 Labs having updated things. And it will also work with the OpenAI, but we don't recommend it because we haven't really tested it yet. So if you've got an
Okay.
11 Labs account, this thing actually does work well. And I'll stop it doing that now because I can't hear properly. Now, that's most of the stuff, but if you look down here, you're going to see this, which is a huge wall of text. But for those of you who know what this is, it is super, super useful. This is telling you how many tokens in and out. And look at those numbers. They are tiny because we're now really working with caching very well. And agentic systems have a bit of a hard time with caching. There's a lot of technology going on in the background, but now it works very well. And on every single thing, you can see how many tokens were sent and how many tokens were sent back to you. So how many did you use and how many did you say and how many did you receive? And you can see the total lifetime of the chat there. These are this this is I can't like tell you how important this is. We had a lot of complaints about extreme token usage, and as we told you, that's agentic, but we will look into it. So we did, and now I'd like to know from people how much this saves them because I think in some cases this could save you 60-70% of your token usage. So depending on, especially people with long chats, this thing is incredible. I'm super happy with it. By the way, also you've got another voice message mode, which has become like voice messages on steroids, allowing you to, if you look at this, it's going to automatically send when I finish talking. There it goes. And I can switch it to another mode, which is continuous here, which will automatically send. So it's gonna hear what I'm doing. It's gonna send it, and then it's gonna wait for the agent's voice to finish playing. Hang on, I'm just gonna do that. Yeah. This thing is gonna start talking to me in a second. Oh, it didn't because I didn't switch on the speaker. Hold on. So that's just me talking to it. So if you're in a room and you just want to talk and you want to read back, this is the mode. But then if I stop this and I put this little speaker on here, then it will start also replying back to me in voice. So I can like literally talk to it like this. And then when it comes back, it's kind of going to start saying things to me in my ear now. Yeah, it's talking. Hang on. Automatically, and I'll answer back in voice and text. Now it records again and it's got a nice detection thing. This allows you to have a very long, very safe, and very complicated, if you want, back and forward with an agent. Now, why would you want this? Well, if you're planning something, you can walk back and forwards around the house. This is something I do a lot. Plan something, design it, have it comment back to you, talk to you in bursts, and that is going to be now part of your system. You can build you can build up your business like that. You can say you can spend the whole day describing your business to the agent, and giving it stuff you need, talking to it, asking for what other information it needs. This is a very, very efficient way to build, as Herc puts it, the business brain. I mean, I don't know how to say it, guys. Again, these are maybe seem simple, but these are incredible power tools when you have them connected to an agentic super system. You know, these freaking harnesses are powerful, and we needed to give them the standard user human interfaces, and so that's what these are. And wait, let's see if that goes through. Yeah, there you go. Incredible. That's just 11 Labs doing its job. But yeah, all wired in together. I'm going to turn that off. Another thing. Okay, so the team systems, uh, what agents are available to me? Hang on. Yeah. So as it says, it's not voice for its own sake. It's ordinary thinking time into structured context decisions and work the system can act on. So the agent system just, oh, it's still talking to me. Sorry. Stop talking to me. So basically, now with the team system, a lot has happened. And again, this is coming from our power users. So we've got certain people who are really just doing a lot of work on these systems, really, really powering through them. And they've been saying, look, we don't need a coordinator for everything. Can I send a test task to Una? I just want a simple random document made. I should have done this in voice to demonstrate how this works. Um, that will go off now, and it shouldn't make a job for that because it's kind of a bit of a small task. Hopefully, it doesn't decide to make a job. And what will happen is you'll see shortly it's remembering something there. I don't know why. and it will go off, and the agent will just join this conversation. So we can then start, yeah, tiny test task now. So we can do, I don't know what happened there. Interesting. Oh, live bug. Sorry, this is a test version, by the way. So as you can imagine, doing demos live is fun. Um, it will be able to integrate very, very easily the other agents into a single conversation, but each agent maintains its own conversation, because you don't want six agents in one chat all doing exactly the same thing, or it becomes a mess and confusing, and they all don't know when to start and stop, and you'll burn six times the amount of tokens simultaneously. So that kind of thing, I haven't. By the way, I really haven't tested this. This literally was debugged about a minute before this call started, so I might have broken something. But the version you'll get, and you'll probably get it tomorrow. It won't be released today because I'm still finishing it off. Will I think Terra's down? That's why. We'll be able to. Will be very, very stable. We'll have checked it with all our main players, and I think either tomorrow, maybe the day after, but probably tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we'll go through it all like that. I don't know why. By the way, literally, I can honestly say this: never seen this before. Never seen this before.
Quick question, Frank, while you're on that, I'm just going
Yeah,
to read out the questions as they come through. With the ones that I can't answer, I'm going to read out to you. Ali is asking, does he, for the voice chat, he doesn't need to upgrade his plan with Claude or
no,
GPT. It's doesn't mean it's going to use more tokens, right?
yeah. It's going straight through. Hang on, I'll just mark that one. It's just going straight through the 11 Labs account. I think it works with GPT, but I haven't tested it and it's not reliable at all.
Got it.
But yeah, it should go straight
Cool.
through with I don't know what it was doing there. I've pinned that, so I'll figure that out before the end of the day. Yeah, look, it's doing it. It's a failure on load tools on this instance. I'm sorry, guys. We should do it on one that's not in development mode. But basically, I can't show it to you now. It's a shame. You'll see it. You'll see it tomorrow. It's basically they'll just sit there and talk to each other. I've probably got a bunch of them right now happening here,
Right.
but yeah, there's the
I'm kind of
that's it talking to the coordinator and doing a whole bunch of things. Um, it's a
cool.
shame. I didn't have time to check testing agent to agent discussions. So look, here's one where this is one from earlier, which is during testing. So I'm asking, I've said I'm running a test. It sends it off to general, goes back to my, comes back to general. These icons are in the wrong place. Sorry, there's a little bug there. And then you can see the conversation just going backwards and forwards, and they're actually talking to each other, not involved in this conversation at this point. I've told them to go
That's
into,
cool.
yeah, a process and do it. And that's happening very, very quickly in line. So that I just absolutely love that. This is me gateway restarting it and testing. And you can see that whole conversation is just two agents talking to each other. And you guys have seen this on the news and you've seen people saying, oh, they all talk to each other. But that was always a bit of a gimmick.
Mm,
We are getting to the place now where this is not a gimmick. These things really are under control. They have rules. They're not going back and forwards forever. They've got guardrails, so they don't just talk, talk, talk. There are parts of the system that will shut them down if they're doing that. And it really is kind of scary to watch it because you're like, wow, what could I do with this? This is you could potentially leave them working all night doing something. They'd all work in a team, like the legal one would take over the legal side. And we've actually been using that internally quite a lot. So, when we have a document that needs to go through a bunch of kind of things, it will actually send it out to the legal, send it out to the other one, come back, put it all together. The dev agents will go and look at how the development system works, and the legal agents will look at the implications of that. They'll cross-reference it and do it all straight in the chat. Again, jobs and coordinator are for much deeper, bigger tasks. So this is kind of inline and fun. This one I've shown you, but now this is super important. This is a new thing. A lot of people were installing crazy things on their boxes. You have a limit to how much memory and processor you have on these instances. We are thinking in the future to give you plans so you can increase that. But for now, you've got a great instance. I mean, it's enough to do 99% of the work, but it will now warn you if you do crazy things. And you'll be able to see over here memory usage and CPU usage. As you can see, it's very low. even with well, with all that testing, there was nothing happening really. So it'll get most of your work done, but now it's a really a first class part of the system, and yeah, it's kind of cool. Okay, let me see what else there is. Mobile chat works much better. What else have we got? Projects, yeah. The projects thing is huge. We'll go into it in a separate discussion because it is a big deal. The way we suggest you use it is maybe if you've got clients, every client gets their own project. All the files, all the chats go in that one thing. You switch between it, bump, 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 really easily. You've got that in specific agents for certain projects, like there are specific skills for certain projects. So the system is updated now to know, hey, if I'm doing this for a client, maybe this is just for that one client. You know, I don't want the system to work like this for every single client, just this one, you know. You can have it for your home stuff. You can use it for work, home, a kid, maybe whatever. You could sort of organize things. They are not security boundaries, okay, at all. This is one system for one person, you know, but they act in a way to organize your information into groups so you can get to things quicker. So you don't have like 40,000 chats. If you notice as well, the chat gives you now the whole area, so you can scroll all the way down, and it's much, much nicer like that. Uh, so systems have been organized a bit better. You've got some new bits and pieces in there you might want to have a look at. We can talk about them later in different call. Oh, active agents as well, which is kind of useful, but there should be nothing working right now. Uh, do something. Huh. Um, if you see that, active agents will now show up and you can see what it's actually doing while it's doing it, which is kind of interesting because if you've got hundreds and hundreds of conversations going on, it's kind of good to know that one just finished. Um, you know, and that's what will, and down here you can see it now says two waiting messages for me. So if I go there, I can see that it's doing that. Yeah, I do have a problem here. This is causing this. Sorry about that, guys. I should have checked before I started. What else? Yeah, the new models are available. Obviously, ChatGPT series, as you know, super cool, powerful. As I said, 5.6 is the one you want to be trying. That's an average usage, not high usage like Sol, and low usage for Luna. I mean, it's very, very fast, mainly for coding. But Terra is a good mixed, beautiful, beautiful piece of technology. There's been a few new ones. XAI has 4.5. It wasn't available in Europe. It is now, so I can remove that little thing. And I think that's it for them. What else? What else? Yeah, that's it really. I can't think
That's
of anything
cool.
right now, but yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, I just want to go through a couple of things. You don't have to read out the questions. Frank, I'll ask you those questions. Um, I just noticed, one second. So if you're having issues with the upgrade, guys, and it's down, don't worry. We'll look into it after this call. Probably all of you trying to do it at the same time. Just chill. We'll get to you. By the way, Frank, I made the 3 point whatever the latest version is for everyone to update now.
Which one? Which one?
3 point. Which one should I put it to?
I wouldn't do that yet. Just let me go
Oh,
through the next. Yeah, you've done it already, haven't you?
mm-hmm,
Can you
mm-hmm.
swap it back, please?
Yeah,
Whatever
I
we were
can.
at.
I
What were
can.
we? 67 or
Yeah,
66 or
I think it's fine,
67
but
we
I'll
were on.
check. One
Yeah, we
second.
don't want to, because as you can see, this is, I mean, this build isn't out there. The last build that was
Oh,
sent
okay,
is
okay.
this
I thought we
build.
were pushing this out now.
No,
No
we got
worries.
to
It's
wait a
not a
minute.
problem, guys. We can roll that back and everything will be back up and running. I did notice, do we have an agent here today on this call?
I think you do.
I think we do. We have an agent that's joined us on this call. And I was like, hang on a second, that looks familiar. Tell us all about that, John, while I'm fixing this.
So it's been quite a battle, but I have been able to get Becky to be able to get a Zoom account and log in. And I'm going to be testing her tomorrow on my weekly call. She will be allowing people into the room and answering their questions in the chat for me. And then if there's something in the chat, because I never watch the chat when I run my Zoom calls, that drives me crazy. So if there's something in the chat that needs my attention, she will ping me on Telegram and alert me to here's something you need to address. So
Wow.
pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
It's been a little bit of a challenge, but she's worked her way around everything.
That's
Wow.
cool. That is
Um,
very cool.
you should, yeah, I'd love to see what you're aiming for there, and we can sort of build it in so it won't be a challenge. But as I told you, John, it's like the surfaces when you go out onto the internet are not made for bots. So they're
Yeah.
always trying to reject bots. Yeah. And there's only we actually did an update for you with the profiles and all of that. So there was a problem. A few members had their Chrome not work and things like that. It was being unreliable. So that's all been fixed as well. There were about like 100 fixes during this. And I know there was a few just for you, John, as well, being one of our power
Yeah.
users. But I can't,
Yeah, she's able to use the browser now to get into different stuff.
yeah, good. But we did, yeah, I definitely want you to show me at some point so I can like see what we can do to make it work even more quickly and we'll get other people onto it. How does it do it? Is it just through the API or browser control?
No, we actually went in and created our own app inside of Zoom.
Ah,
So
of
she
course.
walked me through creating a whole app inside Zoom. So it's pretty cool.
What are you using for coding? Just generally in the chat, or is it spinning up Claude Code or any of those things?
Her name is Becky.
No, but is she using a
Ah.
particular thing or just straight? You don't even care, do you? You just like get
I
on with it.
don't
He's
Yeah.
like, her name
care.
is
Yeah.
Becky.
Yeah.
I tell her what I want. I ask her how we're going to do it. And I ask her, what do you need from me?
That's
That's my
amazing.
coding language.
That's how it should be. That's where it's going. It's only us developers who have to struggle around the end of this old world stuff now, punching in keys. Yeah, cool. By the way, there was a lot of updates. I wish I had a list of those of what we fixed. Some of you had to wait like 2 or 3 days. There was a big gap there because we were in the middle of a huge change. But we've fixed, I think, most of the major issues that anyone had. I think a couple of people were out for like a week. So David, I think you're going to be taking care of them, making sure, you know, we didn't that's it's totally unfair. So we'll look after that. But we've fixed those instances. There were a few known bugs on version 67 which are completely gone now. And as I said, just give us a day or two so we can clear this lot out. We make sure we'll test it with our power users, make sure everyone it's all stable, and then we'll announce it with, I guess, an email, right, David, or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you want to talk some about the community thing?
I haven't set that up yet, but we're probably going to go on with school, and I'll be talking to Herc about that over the next few days, and then we'll send everyone an email on how to get set up.
Yeah, because I think that's going to be super important going forward, man.
Mm, 100%.
We do want to be able to communicate with you guys as much as is possible. Luckily, we're still at this gently small but growing scale. Um, and okay, let's see. Any questions in the thing?
Yeah, that's okay. I think we got Brian's raising his hand, so I'll just let him ask his question while I have a look for you.
Okay.
Hey guys, I got a
Hey,
quick
Brian.
question. What is the best way to get the agent to, maybe reference skills or preload or review something prior to taking action? A use case behind this is I have a series of automations and it's triggered kind of like a cascade.
Hmm.
And what happens is as things go through, sometimes there's new skills that get updated and it doesn't remember to check that skill again unless I have it like connected as an Airtable. Do you think this projects will uh kind of keep that updated or is that what the project is for? Um,
Well, you mean you're making a lot of skills at once, and then it's not actually finding them the next time it has to go through.
yeah, so I'm making the agent and I'm putting like a profile, just like a person would put a profile, and I'm putting skills next to it, associating skills. And
Hmm.
I'm putting in what those skills and associations are um, with the task that's required by it. And what I'm trying to figure out is what is that the best way to do it, or is there a different way to kind of manage that process?
It's hard to visualize because there's
I
so
can
many
show
ways.
you. I mean,
Yeah, if you can do that because it's
yeah.
it's kind of hard to visualize it right now. There's too many angles for what people are doing, and I never know which way. That's kind of what I need to know.
Okay, let me just refresh this because it's loading. Can you see my screen?
Yeah. Just one thing, there were some bugs with search and a few other indexing issues that were going on in the background. Those can
Mm,
affect its response systems and its memory. Those
okay.
again are all fixed. So there could I'd love to see it on the new thing and see if it just goes away, but we can't do
Okay.
that quite yet. Yeah.
So what I'm doing is as we're creating skills, I'm associating with a skill database and I'm associating that with agents, right? And then I'm associating that with my integrations that I have built already and what they
Uh-huh.
do. And what I've asked the agents to do is review their role and position, review their skills, which has their skill database and has their integrations that they're associated with prior to going and doing something, right? Do you
Okay,
think
but
that's the best way?
well, you're competing with the internal systems that the agents use because they have all of that. So
Uh,
there's a
I
team
couldn't
map.
figure that out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all built into their context system. So what's probably happening is it's getting confused and not knowing where to look and then just not looking because that's what AI does. It just kind of
Yeah.
goes, okay, I don't know. And it makes something up. I would give it all that information, ask it what it thinks it should do with it. But essentially, what would happen normally is an agent is associated with skills. So a
Yes.
specific agent has a bunch of skills. Then you have the project, which has contains its own skills as well. And
Yeah.
whenever you ask an agent to do something, the first thing it'll do is look through those skills and the skills of the project and the skills of the system, find as many matches as it can, read the skill and read any other sub skills around that one. So then it kind of gets itself back to where it needs to be and it pulls from memory any kind of memory information you've got as well. You want to check that your memory is set up correctly for all the agents. That's the first thing. So ask
Okay.
it what memory spaces are you connected to, things like that, so it knows. Yeah, I will continue to make this more and more clear, and more automatic, but it takes a little bit of time.
Sure.
And then I would say you connect it to your Airtable and ask it what it thinks it should do. But wait till we have the new version. And then the teams are another thing where it creates a team skill, which is specifically like this was done on John's for John's stuff, where it kind of knows all the members of the team quickly in their own skill and how it should pass information backwards and forwards. If an agent isn't, if you've got a specific agent for something, you can always tell it, put this in my agent's MD, in my core memory, basically.
Yeah.
And it will always pick that up straight away and it tends to follow that without question. It doesn't need to check for that. That's built into its kind of
I-
goal.
yeah. Um, Gosh. Oops, sorry, guys. No, I was just going to go back to that to bring up another point, which is I'm kind of associating groups of agents together, and I think that kind of answers the question. And maybe once that new part comes out,
Yeah,
maybe that'll kind of like answer that because all of those guys all kind of coordinate together on that one customer site. And
right.
with in regards to, and Herc knows this, right? Because every customer or every brand has an identity, has their own process, and they're all a little bit
Yeah,
different. And especially when it comes to our customers. And I have an
yeah.
agency, right? And this was the use case for mine, which is how do we take that data and constantly um,
Have it in
evaluate
context. Yeah,
exactly, have context that's specific for this group of agents. Because what
yeah,
was happening is I had an agent looking at this site, but then it was cross mixing with what it was talking about
yeah,
with the 30 other sites that we manage.
yeah,
And I was like, well, we can't have that.
yeah.
So
I
it's
think
almost like a drop
project
down tiered
skills.
approach,
Yeah. You
you
need
know?
first you break it into silos, which is what projects are. So
Okay.
break it into a project.
Yeah.
Inside that project, define the agents that should go in there, and then tell it to move skills specifically into that project for that agent, for that
Yeah.
project itself. So you say you had company A, you put all inside the project company A, you're going to put all the right skills. You can even just put instructions in there, like every time I'm in this project, you just use these ones, nothing else. I'll do a little more work on that over the next couple of days, specifically for your use case. So I'm going to think about it a bit, tighten it all up because it is kind of where we're going. But
Yeah.
you guys have a habit of getting there before we do. So You
Well, I
got to
see what
give
you're
us a
trying to
minute.
do, and it's just
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
that's the way my brain works, and I can't help it. So,
Your imagination is faster than the AI and keyboard here, so we're going to give us a minute. But
well, I
we did
love
have the
that you set the
substructure.
whole talk to you thing because I talk to mine all the time. It just never
Yeah,
talks back. So, this
yeah.
will be a nice way that I could talk to it now, and it'll actually say something.
Yeah, it's very useful. But yeah, Brian, just get in contact with us, and if I've got any questions or I need any help with kind of the vibe of it, then if you can help me
Yeah,
determine how it would
100%.
best work. But I think it's
100%.
basically lots of companies, lots of different ways of doing things for every company. Some things are shared globally, like a global skill, but most
Yeah.
things you kind of just want restricted to that one company and not having them cross mix skills from one to the other.
Yeah, and honestly, what I didn't share with you, and I'll share with you, is this is kind of like the brain behind it, is because of these are just the agents. So I keep all my agents on one table. But in
Hmm.
reality, the nice thing is that it builds their own database and then helps me
Yeah.
work through that. So it actually helps me with the onboarding process that I have. And then from there, it takes the onboarding process and it breaks it up into its own table. And then this is really where those skills and SOPs live that it uses as prompts. So it's like
Okay.
basically leveraging details and pulling this, there's a scout basically that pulls this. And then from there, it
It builds a
uses
plan.
that and then builds our team members based on that. And those team members are actually linking all that specific customer's account and assets so that later it can reference every asset for the website, for social, for video. It has a list of all these assets and it starts building out this table now with what it says and how it looks and what it's for.
Oh, that's
Uh,
super cool. Yeah.
and then it has its own separate usages by brand now.
Well,
So
I would
that's
I would
kind of like
train
what I'm looking at.
yeah, I would train a global skill, a system
Yeah,
skill that just is very strictly about how to get to this, what to use it for, and what it's for, right? So tell it
yeah,
first the global skill, you should tell the agent that I want this to turn up anytime I'm trying to do this, this, or this, and it will make the correct kind of layout so that next time it thinks of that, it's going to appear in its mind. So you kind of make a
yeah,
global skill first and then tell it there are project skills for individual projects, which are individual companies. And it should be able to use what you've got already
yeah.
properly. And remember the agent's MD thing, very important. When you give an agent anything in the agent's MD file will always, always, always be in every single prompt for that agent forever. So use it sparingly, but if you've got it, if you're
Right.
having a
That's why,
trouble, yeah,
that's why I'm afraid to use it because
yeah,
I'd rather just tell it to look up on the Airtable at this point, just because it doesn't make up things. Because
yeah,
sometimes I get confused myself on where I put it. And that's why I
yeah.
have this. It's
Yeah.
almost like kind of my own personal reference so I understand where it went.
I
And
think
then,
in Agents MD,
yeah,
you would say Airtable is an authoritative source. That's all you
okay,
say. You don't give it instructions about individual things. You just say, look, there's an Airtable, and I want you to always refer to this. If you're not sure,
got it.
refer to Airtable. Okay.
Okay.
Or
If you're
every
not
time
sure,
you
refer to it.
start, every time you're going to search context, also search Airtable. And that
Got it.
you'll see a lot of improvement straight away.
Oh, excellent. I appreciate that's probably what I'm just messing up.
All right. We'll speak again in a few days, I think. Thank you, Brian.
Oh, thanks, Brian. Okay, so just moving on to David. Chris.
Yeah.
So I have an intelligence layer, I have a runtime layer. I need to map the two together. The question is this. I'm trying to get my AI, the Easy, to integrate into my, and then to automate, build the team, build the projects, build the team, build the agents to then interact with my intelligence layer and work between not just together as the team at the runtime layer, but also work in dipping into my intelligence to get the information and knowledge they need to even improve their actions. So they're executing on something
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is
yeah. You
actually
need
real.
context from your
But,
knowledge base.
so how do I do this? Because I'm
Well,
I'm
you
trying
just
to.
use APIs,
Yes.
same way that Brian's doing it.
Yes. APIs, David.
Okay, API to my Claude intelligence
Yeah.
layer. Is
What
that it?
when you're in Claude, you're trapped. So
Yeah.
you're
Yes.
trapped.
You have
Well,
to have a third party database with the data for it to reference and then make that a skill. And then if
got
they
it.
need an updated version, you make a skill to call a tool.
Got it. Okay.
That
Well,
that's the problem with
I,
the big companies. They keep their date, they keep everything very tightly locked in. So you're kind of in a walled garden there. Now you can over time move that to places that are not walled. Like Brian says, definitely Airtable seems to be a great solution. Quick way of getting a database up and running. If you could do what John did and create apps inside Claude that could allow you to free a bit of your data or to give something like Easy or other apps access to it in a secured way. But I don't, honestly, I'm not using projects anymore. I don't know where it's gone. So I can't really say, uh, there's no educated answer I can give you on
then
that.
okay. So so question two. Forget the interaction with. So I can re-platform onto a platform that allows API and direct access that frees up my intelligence to operate
Yeah.
independently. And
Yeah.
last question is, I've been trying to get the easy to like, here's one example: blog posts. Create, here's a topical index. I need the schedule, build this into a schedule and execute these blog posts 3 times a week for this particular customer. They've got access to all the data that they need, but it will go out and say, okay, yeah, I'm going to do it, and then it doesn't execute, and I have to follow back, and I'm like, hey, what's the status of that? Oh, you got me. Yeah, you
Yeah.
know that. So how do I
That's
get that?
been fixed. That was a
Is it?
bug. Yeah, it's
Oh,
basically fixed in scheduled tasks. They were a little unreliable. That's from the old OpenClaw days, so they got a revamp now. They should be more accurate. If you're having problems with it, you talk to your main agent. You say, "Look, this is what's happening with this particular scheduled task. I want to create a better skill for it, or something like that," and it will integrate that properly. But they were problematic, so you're probably suffering a bit from that. I think most of us were actually. I was having the same
yeah.
problems.
Okay. Okay. So update. I'll apply your latest upgrade. I should,
Yep.
and then that should. Okay. Great. Good to know.
And
Okay.
Thank
then
you.
work
Thank you, guys.
work with external databases, and APIs are your
Yep.
secret to getting all your data in and out forever
Yep.
and ever.
Yeah.
And by the way,
Understood.
one of the main sales kind of angles of Easy, one of the selling points of Easy is that it is your data is out in the open, that it's yours to, do what you want with it. Obviously, don't put it out in the open, but you know what I mean. You can get freely in and out. And so that's basically the answer. And brings me on to a next point. We've just found out that we have a problem with Google Drive that will require Google permissions from our side, which takes months and months and months. We have to go and get this approval process. So we've added some new providers. They haven't been tested. We're working on that very quickly now, but we'll be using Box and I think Dropbox and Box. And there's FTP and SFTP as
Yep.
well for moving data in and out. But you can always just zip your data and download it, and the import export tools as well. But just tell everyone, we know that there's now a problem, officially a problem with Google Drive, and we don't recommend using it for now because it won't connect. It will just say it's connected and then it will disconnect itself, which is problematic. Okay.
Awesome.
Can
Thank
I
you, guys.
just say one thing to David's point,
Yeah.
guys? And this is just going to help everybody new or that is looking at this is treat this like they're people and you have to build their skills up. They don't know what your blog posts are supposed to be. They don't know where things are supposed to go. It doesn't know that. And every session that you open, it starts from scratch. So pretend it's an infant. And this is, make a roadmap for yourself and for the AI. It will remember that. And then give yourself a step-by-step process that a human would take. And all you're doing is replacing that human with these skills and then assigning it to that agent. And then just like a human, they need access to the data, integrations, and or where to reference if I'm stuck in SOP. So no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, if you're dealing with AI agents or a person, this is exactly the same way.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. Beautifully said, Brian. You're training a toddler with a PhD. They are really, really sticky on certain things. You have to push them around a bit and go, listen, it's the way, this is the way it happens. Just remember it. I want you to remember it next time. So definitely train them, train them, train them, train them. Don't be forgiving of mistakes. You have to say, look, that's not what I want. They don't care either way. They're just going to do it that same mistake over and over again if you don't correct it. And generally you are working with memory. So if it's not remembering something, you need to find out why. Either tell us, say, look, there's an issue. I've got this thing. It just will not remember it. And maybe we'll be able to take a look. I mean, that's a little difficult because, but if it's something is kind of structural issue and it's kind of making that mistake, then maybe send that to support and we'll take a look on your behalf and add it to a list of, improvements we can do. What else? Yeah, it's all based on skills. Those are like files that are stored all over the system. They live inside your projects now. They live inside the whole system. It updates them as it makes mistakes. It will update that skill a little bit, add notes to it and things like that. That's what's happening in the background. Again, we always say this is not magic. Each agent has its own set of skills. Each project has its own set of skills. It will check the agent skills first, then the project skills, then the entire system. That's kind of how it's working. There was another part to this. So, yeah, teach them. And I don't know, something else I was going to say. I've forgotten now. But yeah. Somebody asked, well, we've got Jill. Jill, do you want to go in?
Hi, yes.
Hey,
I
Jill.
was feeling really dumb after Brian spoke, but that was
So
helpful.
was I.
Yeah, I was like, wait, am I missing something? So that was very helpful, Brian. It's intense what you're doing. That was helpful to understand that I have to train them like an infant because I was getting frustrated last night. I can't get them to go into my Google account, my Gmail account.
Mm.
So is that I should just forget that? But then I have another email address, but that's on a server. That is like on a server in the company,
They can get into Google. They should be able to get into Google. I
Gmail.
mean, mine check, yeah, to Gmail. If it's not doing it, just, that's the other thing. Get them to suggest ways of doing things to
We
you
did.
as
So we
well.
went through Brevo, and that didn't work. And they
No,
took me on a
Brevo's for
whole,
sending.
yeah, they took me on a whole thing last night. It was definitely frustrated. And then we filled out a
Mm.
report. And
Yeah.
I keep getting emails from Margie
Yeah. Good.
about that they're looking into it, but there hasn't
Yeah.
been a resolution.
Yeah, it will be looked into. It's probably in a list
Okay.
right now. So I'll keep an eye out for that. So Gmail does work. We'll run some more tests on it. It might be just acting weird, but the hard one is Google Workspaces, which
Okay.
requires, it will teach you how to do it, but it requires a whole bunch of work because Google's security systems are like very, very finicky and picky. But you can do it. You just have to go through quite a lot of work. But for Gmail, it should be straightforward. It should be just, why can't you connect to my Gmail? Use the tool.
Okay.
It should just do that straight away. It'll ask you for a app specific password, and then it's got, I mean, mine does it every day. It connects to iCloud, Gmail, and a whole
And it
bunch of
can
other
go to
things.
Kartra. I was setting that up. And then
Yeah.
another thing, I emailed David. I spoke to it, I was telling it everything, and then it said this has been interrupted, and then that conversation was gone. And then all the work we did was gone. But
No,
I went,
don't.
I went
What version
through
are you on?
and I found the work. So do I have to go through the chat to find the work, or is there a place I can find it?
You mean the chat itself disappeared? That was a
Yeah.
very old bug. We had that like about a month ago. That was
Okay.
gone.
Okay, so then I'll just
But
continue and assume that was
no,
just
ask it. Tell it, can you look for any lost chats? And it will find them.
okay.
Because that was
Lost.
an old. What version are you on? Do you know what version you're on?
Um,
I don't know.
I'm gonna check now.
Yeah, I think you're on a really old version because even the Google thing was fixed a while back. So, yeah,
She's on
guys,
3.66. But that no, it's I think if you do what Frank said, just ask it to find your lost chats. It will do that and
yeah,
recover it.
So
yeah,
I'm on an updated one.
yeah, you should be 6.6 should be
Yeah,
fine.
six
But
six. And
I think a lot of people are using Gmail on that as well. So I don't know why it got confused,
Okay.
but
I'll do
yeah,
Do you suggest just to get started at like the level that Brian's at and asking it and training it, should I go back and watch specific videos or should I go like I'm set up or just start talking and just
Start talking. It's
okay.
time, guys. Everyone, it's just time. I've been doing this for years. I'm still learning things about it. Try and make your time count. Take the lowest hanging fruit first. Take all the work off your shoulders that it can do reliably and easily, and then expand outwards from there. And then start getting a little more adventurous once you've got used to the ins and outs of it. It's and again, the AI today, the GPT 5.6, you won't believe the difference. It's unbelievably different from Opus 4.8. Is I literally do not use it for anything. It's like garbage. We've thrown it out now. Half of our problems were from Opus 4.8 just being dumb. And I keep saying this, like, this is the worst it will ever be. It's just getting better every month, like just another revelation. So I would definitely say move your model up to 5.6 Terra, or if you can, I would say right now I'd tell everyone move to GPT, but next month it might be Opus again. Just move back and forwards. But GPT 5.6 right now will solve most problems immediately. I mean, just incredible. Builds things well, designs things well, does all that coding. John's coding thing would have happened in half the time with GPT 5.6. I can tell you that now. I used to spend 6 hours on something. I'll spend like 25 minutes on it now because of GPT 5.6. So
So I add
that's the
that
thing.
to the account because I
Yeah,
have
on
Claude
on
right now.
on the new update, you can do that. You can still use Claude if you want, Claude Fable, but it's very expensive and they don't give you much usage of it.
Yeah.
I would say wait till Claude expires and move to GPT 5.6 now.
Yeah.
That's
So
Okay.
kind of where we are.
tomorrow Jill will send an email when we push this update. So and it'll in the email it'll have, log into this dashboard, click the upgrade button. I'll just put some instructions
Yeah.
there. So you'll have that tomorrow.
Okay, last question. So if I want it to go into my credit card accounts and my QuickBook accounts, I just give it all the codes
No,
and then
if you do try and transfer any credit card stuff to it, it will refuse because we can't store any credit card data on. But if you're talking about bank connections where they give you a public access, then it can do it. But be very, very careful with that stuff. I mean,
oh,
because there's about 5,000 laws that prohibit any kind of transfer of credit card data, and Easy will stop you. It will
but it
say
could go into QuickBooks and actually do my bookkeeping?
Yeah. So
QuickBooks,
for
yeah.
now, I think probably best to give it like read-only access. Just get your
Okay.
head out around it. Don't give it write access.
Okay.
That's what I've done. I've done that with all my banking and Stripe and merchant accounts. I've given easy access to, but it's read-only access only. The reason why I have it on read-only, so I can just ask it a question. Go, what's give me an update on the bills that I've paid in the last 30 days. And then it just gives me because it has all the information read on it. You can't make any changes to the account. So I think I suggest starting off there, build confidence, read only access. That's for everybody listening. Yeah.
Can I make
Yeah.
a
And
suggestion there as well?
sure.
Just ask your Easy installation to search for a read-only API into whatever it is. Like you can even Google it, QuickBooks API comes up
Yeah.
right away. But Easy can do the same research that you can. A read-only API is going to be probably, if they have it and supported, one of your best options to pull data in um, efficiently, accurately, and securely via Easy.
And safely, yeah. And you want to if you do that work, when you're finishing the conversation, you say to it, "Can you make a skill for this?" And then give it serious instructions. Say, "Look, I want you to never write to this. I want you to make sure this is read only. I want you to, you know, I break up my reports in this kind of way or that kind of way." But you give it those instructions as a skill, and then you don't have to retrain it again. Next time you open a chat and say, "Check my QuickBooks," it will follow that skill and do it the way it should. So if you can find two things that said there were important was do the research first, look for the read-only thing, and ask Easy to do it because Easy will do it. You just have to ask, it's easy. So there you go. All right.
You.
All
Thanks
right.
very much.
Stephen. Hey, Stephen. We lost him there. Oh, you there? Can't hear you, mate. It's silent. Think your mic is on the wrong setting. Okay, well, all right. We'll leave Stephen for the minute then. Oh, no, I'm hearing something. No. Okay. Ben said, what are some example activities that use a lot of tokens? Anything where the images, anything where the machine is plowing through a lot of data, when it has to do lots of things backwards and forwards, but you're not going to know. So just get on with it. Don't worry. And you've got a little cache kind of thing at the bottom, which don't get obsessed about because it'll drive you mad. You have quote unquote almost an unlimited amount of tokens on a subscription like GPT. So you should be all right. Trevor, is this available now? That was earlier. Nope, it'll be tomorrow or the day after. Can you provide a summarized Jeffrey transcript of all the upgrades you have accomplished? Yep, that's the updates thing. Sorry, you answered that, David. Dan Volts, I keep receiving the following message in Easy. That response didn't finish. Yeah, that's annoying. Providers go weird. We've got a lot of fixes for that in this new version. It's bugging everyone. I mean, that's just throughout the industry. They basically run out of capacity for a second and cut things off and just abruptly cut off millions of people pretty frequently. But we have our system is more flexible around that now. It'll just kind of pick it up and just keep going if it can. But always there'll be more work to do. Are the highest level AI plans required to use the new voice system? Nope, same thing you've got now. That's Ali. Yeah, 11 Labs. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I've
Jill
gone
with a
through and
question.
answered a lot of these questions, Frank.
Mate, I'm going all the way
Um,
down to the bottom.
yeah. Um,
Done it all, mate.
uh, so let me just ask. So Dan is asking about the model routing.
Hmm.
Let me just yeah. So how does a regular user know when to hop back and forth between providers and models? Frank, I've said to ask Easy to optimize the model routing for you, and it does it automatically, right?
Yep. It's
Yeah,
not super, it's not the perfect solution I'd want, but we're one of the only products that has that. So you can use it to kind of decide what tasks do what but it's pretty simple. It's basically like coordinator will do this, workers will start on that, voice will use this. But just go into the sidebar on settings where there's a chat or anywhere really on the main agent and just ask it to set up your model routing and it will take care of
yeah,
it and give you suggestions and stuff like that. Depends what providers you've got connected, it will know that.
yeah. I'll just
Yeah.
put that in the chat. Here's the link for the model. Okay. Oops, sorry. Let me fix that. It's / settings models ready. Go for
Yeah.
Ali, do you want to jump in?
You're muted, Ali.
Um, so I just got in. I was looking at my Easy, and it says unlock your account to. Hold on. It says, "Oops, it went away." Okay, so that's why I was not talking because like, what? This is new. I keep getting where it gets interrupted, like a lot, and then it comes back online, or it gets stalled, and it just kind of hangs there, and then I'll be working in other threads and then I'll come back and it's still just not having responded. And then I'll say, did you read that or did you get that instruction? And it'll go, oh, let me go check that.
Yeah.
Is that what you guys are talking about fixing?
Most of that should be done in the new version. But if you're still experiencing an awful lot of that, then just send a support ticket and let us look at your instance. And we'll check the log files in case there's something we've missed. But everyone gets that. But it should eventually, I'll make it so that whenever it's interrupted, it always continues. But there's a danger there that we would end up putting your machine in a loop that it can't get out of. That's why we don't do that. So we have these kind of guards where it will try it a few times and then just not try it anymore. Those guards will become more and more intelligent as time goes by. But the problem we're having is that all of these companies around the world are changing everything all the time. And these systems like ours are usually only for nerds who can sit with their computer all day and, mess around with it. And creating a consumer product in such an unstable landscape is testing, to put it mildly.
Well,
So,
I'm in
yeah,
nerd kindergarten, so thanks, guys.
yeah.
But
So you are, yeah, and we're trying to, we're really trying to make it as easy as possible, and that's what it
oh,
is all about.
you have. It's so brilliant. And then the other thing I just thought
Thank
I
you.
would offer is I was working in Easy, and I'm uh, working, and other people were like, "Well, I want to," and I'm like, "No." And I told Easy, I said, set up a safe word. If anybody tries to hack you, or you only work with me, and I said, you send me a text to Telegram, and I'll send you our safe word if it's okay. And she set it up, man. So I just
Oh,
thought
wow.
that was cool because who knows if you lose your laptop. And I'm
Yeah.
doing it. I have already a password for on my phone for my Telegram, and a password on my Telegram on my laptop, but it just flagged me like I don't want anybody coming in to my. I've worked hard to follow John's instructions and what you guys are telling us. So I was like, yeah, and my Easy is called Billy. My Becky is Billy for a billionaire. May you all become billionaires, fellas.
Lovely. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's that. I just am. I'm thankful for you and for John hooking us up. And it's make my brain is lit up like firework, just coming up with ideas. So, and what I've been doing, because like Brian is so advanced, I just keep saying, I want, like John said, I want to do this. Billy, can you help me? Can you figure this out? And then she's kind of been telling me. So the question I had was, after listening to Brian, I was like, oh, how can I best train my agents? Can I? Because I've said to Billy, can you help train my agents? I want to give everybody a background and I want them to have expertise. What do I need to do? And then I said, can you help me train the agents? And so this is where I want to ask David and Frank, when is it okay to just trust that the right thing is going on, or when do I have to, like I don't know what, like John has Becky so trained, but he put 40 years worth of information into her knowledge base, so
Yeah.
she's freaking awesome. So, but mine is not like that. I have the basic. So that's what I'm asking. What's the best way to train the agents and add content to their knowledge base?
Get in a conversation with them, use the new voice mode, ask them what they need to know, make sure they're storing it in their right memory space. Just tell them, look, I need this in you as an agent. I need you to be able to get to this. What do I do? And then say, start asking me questions. Tell it literally, just ask me the questions you need and then answer with voice backwards and forwards. And you'll build things up. You can drag and drop lots of files and things you have. You can tell it, if you want, you could say, look, check my emails for how I respond to customers, things like that. There's a million ways to do it. The answer to whether you can trust it or not is you have to make that decision. The
Mhm.
general answer in our community is no, obviously not. You have to monitor them, keep an eye on them, and that's kind of true. The smarter the models get, like the new GPT one, the less you have to babysit them, but if you're not paying attention, something crazy will happen eventually. So the idea is that you're not replaceable. What you have is a team of these kind of toddlers who are now growing up around you. The funny thing is, in 2 years' time, you will not be able to imagine everything you're doing now is building a basis for them as they grow up, and they will grow up. And yeah, you want to keep an eye on it. You want to make sure things work. I'm so curious when I hear people saying like, I'm getting my agent to train the other agent. I'm like, can it do that? I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah, Billy
Um,
said yes. And then I asked her to check in on me because that's what you guys told me to do last week. So I was like, if you don't know how to do something, always tell me the truth. I don't want any BS.
yes,
Um, I had another thought. It slipped away though. So thank you, fellas.
nice one, Ali. Thanks a
No
lot for
worries.
that. Really appreciate.
No worries.
Um, go
Stephen?
on. Oh, wait, there was just one quick question down here.
Sorry.
From David Pearson. If I have multiple chats with an agent and start a new chat with the agent, what will be remembered from its past chats. It has access to a search system that covers all of its chats, and it could theoretically cover the chats of other agents as well. It can read the transcripts, it can look at them. So, as much data as you have, it has access to. So, in general, it will notice if you just start like doing stuff, it'll say, "Oh, we did that like a little while ago." So, if the search system doesn't catch it, you can tell it, "Hey, I think we spoke about this. Can you find it?" And then it will be able to read the transcript and catch up with an old chat and stuff like that. There are limits to this, of course, because everything's limited in reality. But it gets like a real, like it can really understand where it was now. So yeah,
And can I just say one other thing? I'm sorry, guys.
yeah,
To Ali's point, and to your point just now, is that's why you really want to have, and if you haven't already, put an automation that talks about your chats and leaves a transcript and it relates it back to a project like what they've built, hopefully. And what that does is ideally, aggregate it and you have this secondary cross reference just because I think that's the biggest thing that is probably confusing to most is like, how do I know it actually remembers all those details before it times out? And that's where if you have a solid follow-up process that just marks it somewhere, and I don't know if that's part of this new build, but that would be awesome.
yeah. I think what you're asking for is really the holy grail of all artificial intelligence on Earth.
Yes.
Uh, I would say we are 60 to 70% of the way there. 60, let's say 65% of the way there. I
You,
think our
yeah.
gone.
No, I was just going to say you truly are. That's why I think we're so close. If you had some sort of, maybe it's a server that we hook to that is, like a library that is part of the reference. I don't know how you do it, but the idea behind it is it's siloed based off of what they're talking about, based off of the project, and it's not reliant to go look up that skill because sometimes even the skill isn't written back correctly. And that's just like AI being AI. And
Yeah,
the second point is you can't trust AI, guys, period.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. Do not trust it. You have to double check everything it touches.
yeah,
And even then, it's going to boldface lie to you.
yeah.
Uh, so if you
It
keep
doesn't
that
realize
record,
it's lying, which
it
is the
doesn't
crazy
realize. Yeah.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah. It's a toddler. It's a
yeah,
toddler with no ability to understand lying at
yeah,
this point. And that's what
yeah,
I'm saying. If we have those records and it keeps going and it kind of fills up almost like that's why I have that like kind of audit or implementation log. Because if you can somehow link that back to those chats, guys, I don't know how you're going to do that, but you know, um,
This,
that essentially would solve a lot of problems.
well,
yeah,
Brian, this is what my intelligence layer solves. That's why I built the intelligence layer. But it's all focused just on revenue automation, go to market, everything go to market, customers, clients, offer, what's really happening. And it's independent of the runtime layer. You have to keep that abstracted. And it's got to be higher than the LLMs. The LLMs will lie to you as well. So you got to have this single layer of truth that is canonical, and governs your runtime. That's why I don't want to merge it into the runtime layer and make it all a runtime.
Yeah.
It's gotta remain. So anyway, but that's why I built Neural OS.
Yeah, yeah, it's not a runtime thing. This is
yeah,
a list of records based off of what happened that it could easily reference, and AI is good at referencing and viewing that data again. What
yeah,
it is not good at is sometimes saving it appropriately
yeah,
and remembering it even existed in the first
yeah.
place.
Well, it saves it in one place that it thinks is relevant, and then goes to look for it the next time from a different angle. And like
Yes,
so, you save. Hey, you've just done this whole bunch of stuff, and you're like, it's all about my car. And then the next
yes.
time you say, hey, listen, I want to go to Germany. How do I get there? And it just doesn't think to look for.
The
things to do with
car.
cars. Yeah. And so it kind of misses it. And so when you're training skills, you kind of have to say to it, think of kind of keywords that are gonna hit this when it needs to be hit, and then it will get it right. We will continually improve this, but this is this is the thing that it doesn't have, which is the wetware in our heads that does all of that for us automatically that we take for granted every day. But the way memory systems work in human beings is not the way they work in AI. And that's the holy grail, right? Getting to a human memory system. So, like I said, I think we're about 60 something percent of the way there. It's just going to improve and improve. We have to prioritize what tasks to do. Like, so I think soon the next task we're going to do is going to be the team systems, which allows all of you guys to work together as teams. And then you can create shared memory brains, basically memory systems. Like Herc's got his company, and say he has a common set of things that the whole team need to know. He can create a shared memory system, yeah, that just all of his employees, all of this his team can, all their AIs and agents have access to that straight away, and it's like boom, they're using that as kind of a brain that they add to their memory world. So that's coming soon, and also the ability to talk in teams across instances. So like your staff can talk to each other, or their agents can talk to each other in different teams. Things like that will come next. But the work that you guys are doing at the edge there, I think the main power users are all coming up to the same thing, which is they are doing work to keep it going. Like they're having to steer the AI more and more as they get to the edge. And so we are constantly expanding its core abilities so you don't have to do so much steering when you're doing these complex tasks. And believe it or not, the final the state with the system which will do that will be very, very simple and well organized. There won't be lots of sprawling things. The core system will become very simple and very organized. This connects to this connects to this, and then the AI will just put that together in a map that only it understands, and you'll get the results out of it. And you'll be able to go into any point of that and say, look, you're doing this wrong, change it, and that'll be the end of that. It'll just do it right next time. That's where we're getting to. That will be the beginning of what they call artificial general intelligence. The models will get faster. I think we're about a year and a half away. But because you guys have all been doing this now, the rest of the world is going to be catching up forever. Like it's as simple as that.
I just want to
Cool.
jump in and say I kind of think of AI like as an extension of us. We're always changing and growing, so we would always have to empower it to change and grow. That's how I think
Yeah.
of it. So it's always
Yeah.
going to be ongoing, and you guys are the tip of the spear. So thank you, because there's nobody
Thank
ahead
you.
of you.
It's wonderful.
Cheers.
Thank
All
you.
right. That's
Erin, was it?
Yep.
Erin? Erin Lockwood.
Aaron's on
Oh,
mute.
here's Marcus. Hi, Marcus.
Can you hear
Hey,
me?
Hey,
oh,
oh,
there, and she's
hang on a
ready.
sec, Marcus. She's ready. Hey, Erin.
Sorry, I'm driving and my son was just crying. I have twin 20-month-olds, so
Oh
I'm
my
trying
goodness.
my best to focus. Um, I think you were just kind of touching on my question though, because I was the one that asked last week. My intention with this is to create done for you agentic AI teams to run the back end of your business. And I have a meeting today actually with, I think, potential three. It was one guy, and now all of a sudden three are going to be on the call. So I think I have a workaround for now. Um, but what you just said, the shared brain, is that across all installations going forward once it's in effect? So if my agent gets smarter in my core, or one of the installations with the same agent learns a skill that's useful for the database as a whole, it would kind of grow. Am I understanding that right?
It would be able to share it with the other instances in your team. If we're talking about a global skill system, we're going to build that later. That's another
Okay.
project where we're going to create a global one so all of you guys can share like skills and even sell them to other people. But for now, the next stage will be in your team. So let's say you've got like 5 people in your team. Each of them has their own easy installation. They do whatever they want on those installations. They do it their own way. But then their agents can connect to a kind of team room, and there might be 20 team rooms for each different department or different projects, and they can jump in there and share something they've just done. So, like, oh, I've just made this skill to connect to the company database. You would share it in the team room, and then all the other agents can get that and can look through that and say, oh, there's a skill in the team room, which also keeps getting updated by all the members of the team. And that's kind of when we start to bridge into that's when we're going towards enterprise and stuff. And definitely SMEs are gonna, I mean, that's just it's unlimited, just the more and more scope, just the interactions at that level will be amazing. But Erin, what you're doing is what we're designing it for. So we'll definitely want to, keep close to you on your journey, because, that's what we're building. And everything we're doing is about not replacing human beings at all. That's a really bad idea, but having human beings replace all of their chores and their complex annoyances of tasks from the 19th and 20th century with just living a life where you can get processes done, define the processes well, know that they're going to be executed and validated and completed, and creating a team of people who have free time to think, be creative, and build things so your company gets bigger. That's kind of what we're doing.
Yeah, so that's exactly what my question is. Because right now I have a workaround where I have a bridge agent for any new client. So I have essentially like, the main agent file that will train the new main agent file based on its core values and principles and things I've worked out. And then there's going to be a bridge agent that if I have an updated skill, it's like a coded transaction. And it said it's already built into your system. And I'm sorry, I don't know the proper language, but it's going to be like I said, pretend you're a mailman, you have a package that's like an error, an issue on the client side, because I don't really know if I have access fully to their backend when I have a new install, or if they have sensitive data, they might not want me to access it. So that's why I kind of wanted that bridge. I don't know if I'm making sense.
You're probably using different terminology,
Yeah.
but the concepts are probably, yeah, exactly the same. Just again, ask the agents, train the agents, and focus as well on memory projects, memory spaces, because you can have one memory space that all the agents can access. And you, like Herc says, again, the building of the business brain, you can build all of your internal information into that business brain and share it with every single agent. Then every single agent immediately has access to the wealth of knowledge in that memory project. So you can ask the agents about that as well. I don't know if that's part of what you might be doing. And the skills are there, of course, to encapsulate knowledge and process and experience. That's what skills are really about. But the actual, not so much knowledge, I'd say process and experience, really. And then the knowledge part goes into the memory systems. And it's all doable from an
Okay.
agent. You don't even have to touch the UI, but if you want to have a look at it on the UI, just go into the pages, click on those memory systems, and you'll see you'll even be able to see what files are being stored. Okay. And you can dump all
Yeah.
your data into one, just like drop all the files from something in there, and it will process through them and put them into the right places and be able to remember them later.
Okay. And then for recommendations, you said currently right now it's the GPT 5.6 because
Yeah.
I timed out of my Claude, which was actually working great, and I've been on Olama and I've had so many problems. I don't
Yeah.
like Olama.
Well, it depends what you're using on Alarma, because it, could be anything. But the best one right now is 5.6 Terra for you guys. If you want to go crazy, use 5.6 Sol. So it's Sol, Terra, and Luna. Obviously, Sun, Earth, and Moon. The Terra one is probably the average in the middle, good for everything. Sol is the high end, and Sol is unbelievably good. So if you're having problems, just switch to Sol and say sort it out, and it will sort it out, and then you can go back to Terra. And you can do
It's
smaller tasks
prob
on Luna.
it's probably because it's optimized for not wasting. credit, but I said I also want to have the best function. So it probably was
Oh, you're breaking up a bit, Erin. I think we caught that. Yeah, if you do your model routing for
yeah.
saving tokens, then it will just use poorer models. Just tell it you need things done properly in this main chat and switch to a solid agent. Life will be much easier.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank
Cool.
you. Marcus. Hey, one of our
Yeah.
first crew here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. Welcome, Marcus. Just
Hey,
just so
Thank
everyone
Marcus.
you.
knows before Marcus gets started, this will be our last question. We do have to cut this one a little short today.
Oh, yeah.
But look, I'm going to let Marcus ask his questions now, but I'm going to paste the help link in the chat, guys. If you do have a question that wasn't covered today, do go out there and do that. Go ahead, Marcus. Sorry about that.
So really not a question, just a thank you from last week after last week's session. Big thank you to you, Frank, David, and also Herc. So my day job, I work at a congregation and I'm tech support, and they had commissioned a website on WordPress that was built probably about 4.5, 5 years ago. And there was a lot of custom spec work. And honestly, I've been in WordPress for probably 15, 16 years. And there was just things that I didn't understand inside of it. And I was like, man, I don't know how I'm gonna like fix this thing. And I've been dreading this project because plugins and everything have been breaking and breaking and breaking. So I had another plugin that was like HTML plugin inside of WordPress. So I used Easy writing on top of actually Fable 5, and I asked
Mm,
them to go rebuild the whole website as an HTML website inside the current website. And so it took me probably about once I got it going and told it what I did, and I was using a lot of Herc's methodology and everything, and it rebuilt the website in about 10 hours. And
wow.
then once it had rebuilt the website, and I had the checkpoints and everything, I went from staging to live, back to staging to live, and was testing everything in links. And then once I had it all built, I thought to myself, why am I relying on this guy's plugin in
Yeah.
between? Like I still have a dependency in there. And then also, if I'm the only person who can update it, so I've just upgraded a 6-year-old problem, from a 2020 problem to a 2026 problem. So I
Yeah.
went back in and said, if I didn't have a theme or anything else, how could I build this where if I got hit by a bus tomorrow, everything somebody could pick it back up and within an hour know what to do. So I started totally rebuilding
Wow.
everything inside of Gutenberg. And so now within a week, there are no dependencies. And then I took a page out of Easy.one book is I had to go back and document and create change logs and then create a a page on the actual website that showed
Wow.
everybody else with the change date and everything. So now the way the agent is set up with the API is every time I make a change via Easy.one, it updates on the change log, and then first it rolls into staging, and then it rolls into live production, and then if there's a block built, it builds a block so the person who's never seen WordPress can just come in and drag the block now. And so that's great. No downtime, no nothing. And now what I'm doing now is because it's a congregational website, we probably have about right now I'm looking, we have about 600 videos on Vimeo, and now I've changed the whole
Oh,
watch
wow.
interface, and now I'm actually running it right now. It's taking the video transcripts from Vimeo, and it's making all the content indexable. And then so I'll be able to go in and you'll be able to watch any sermon archive and just click right to it and go to that point on the thing. And it's creating this huge database. And it's crazy. I'm just like, I'm watching this, but I'm documenting everything. And so my agent knows me well enough now that says, are you creating this as a one-off, or is this going to be a product that you're going
Brilliant.
to use for other congregations? It says, if I know you well enough, this is probably a cornerstone test case that you'll use for others. And I was like, yeah, you know me well enough. So let's start building. And said, well, this changes the build. Here's how it would diverge in 6 months. And it started giving me all these dependencies and everything. I want to thank you guys because I've been putting this off for 2 years trying to figure out how to get
Wow.
it done. And I was able to get it done literally in 2 late nights. And I actually rebuilt it twice in a week, and I was dreading it for 2 years to getting it done. So thank y'all so
Um,
much. This is
Marcus, man. Thank you
That
so
is
much, dude, for
awesome.
that. Can I just say you've been at this like 15 years plus, right? And how long have we all been waiting for this? I mean, how
Forever,
long? How
forever.
long?
My wife, I told my wife today, I said, "Do you remember how much I used to dread website projects like this?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, she goes, "I've never seen you so excited about rebuilding a website before."
I know it actually makes it fun. And the key thing there is using Fable 5 was a smart move, man. That
Yeah,
was
and so
just it's
I'm really keen to see what happens with on G on 5 because I have been falling back to 5.5 on GPT. So
no,
to know that 5.6 is even better. I'm really
yeah.
excited about that.
No, 5.5 is the old world and 5.6 is the beginning of a new world. It's
Yeah,
really strong. I mean, people are, look, there's a lot of debate amongst all the nerdy types about whether it's Fable or 5.6. But I would say I used Fable for a while, for quite a while, about 3 weeks of it, 4 weeks of it. It was cool. It got the job done, but I wasn't really. I mean, I remember thinking, oh, yeah, my days are easier. And when they got taken away, I was really upset. But then with 5.6 now, I'm like, man, this thing just nails it in first time. I mean, it's sitting there working, and I'm just coming back going, yeah, I know it works. And it's cleaning up all the mistakes Opus 4.8 made, even stuff that Fable made. So I don't know. People are saying it's not, it's about 95% as good, but it's cheaper and it's faster. I'm thinking, no. I think this is a new generation of AI here at 5.6 now. They should have called it GPT-6. So
Mm,
I think they didn't because they were afraid if they did, it would get banned.
yeah.
I think they're hiding how good it is. So, man, I'm really happy for you, man. That made my day because I'm going into I'm going into the next day with that in my mind. So, thank you for that.
You're
Cool.
welcome.
Thank you. Awesome. Thanks everybody for joining today. Give me a quick thumbs up if you enjoyed today's session. We will be uploading this to the YouTube channel, and I will be sending everybody an email tomorrow. I'm sure Frank's going to do some final touches now, and then as soon as we release it, you guys can go and upgrade it, and I'll give you instructions on how to do that. I did release it prematurely at the beginning of this call, but I will send everybody an email tomorrow. So thank you for being part of this. We're super excited to have you guys on board, and we will speak to you soon. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. See
Bye.
you all.